I'm talking with John Williams, and John and I are going to talk about a Leadercast in just a little bit. But first of all, let's find out about you. Give us a little quick autobiography.
Okay, so this is 60 Seconds with Dennis, right? This
Yes.
is what we're doing here. Well, my name's John, and it's good to be here with you today, Dennis. It's an honor to take the time and the opportunity just to hang out with you guys. I'm 35 years old. I have a wife and two boys. My wife is Alexis. She has put up with me for a wonderful 14 years of marriage and 17, 18 years of dating. It depends on who's telling the story, whether it's me or her. Mine's a little longer than hers. So we're originally from Gadsden, Alabama, which is right up the road in Coleman. It's about 55 miles away. Alexis and I have two boys, Jaden and Joshua. Jaden is an upcoming 8th grader at West Point Middle School, and Joshua is an upcoming 5th grader at West Point Intermediate. So both of the boys are involved in football. Jaden, I've got to give you this kid's stats. At 12 years old, he's like 6'1" or 6'2". He's like 210 pounds. Yeah, right? We go through like 12 gallons of milk a week. It's insane. I wish I were kidding. I price match milk all over the place. I'm that guy, right? And Jaden's, man, he's just a big kid. Big old boy. Both of our boys, we're blessed. They've got wonderful hearts. You know, they're tender, and I love that as a dad, just to get to love on my boys and to see my wife just thrive in this world of, just in this testosterone ocean that we have at our house. My wife's she's a champ, man. She handles us so well and puts up with us. I'm married so far. They say you outkicked your coverage. Like, I'm not even in the same, time zone here. I just married so far up, I believe, with my wife. So we moved to Coleman. We're actually coming in 3 years of being here in Coleman with you guys. And this is, of all the places we've lived all over the country. We've even lived outside of the country some for my work and career and profession thus far. We moved here from Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. And I was so ready to leave Hilton Head. They say it's paradise, but when you live there, oh man, the traffic is horrible. So it's great. And then from Hilton Head, we were in Nassau in the Bahamas, where I served as a camp pastor with a mission organization where we had youth groups come in, and they would spend a week at a time. Different youth groups would working on different projects that we had on the island. So that was really awesome. It's really awesome to work there in that context, and just to see, just to help navigate some of the issues, the tensions, the cultural, social tensions between the Bahamians and the Haitians, and just help, bridge partnerships and bridge connections there, because, the Bahamas is a refuge for the Haitians coming over.
Okay.
So, it was an honor to be able to serve in that capacity. So about like 17 years overall as a professional youth worker. And that includes everything from being a student pastor to facilitating, coordinating, directing a multi-state office justice juvenile delinquency prevention grant when we were in West Tennessee. The grant that we did, just to talk about that for a little bit, because we've got some really exciting things on the horizon. So it's this peer-based mentoring program. So when we think about mentoring with high school students, maybe one of the models that we have in mind is an older person, maybe a professional or a different adult in the community, maybe coming in, or maybe a teacher or a coach coming in and working with a group of kids or one or two students. Well, the peer-based model, it empowers 11th and 12th graders to mentor 6th through 10th graders.
Okay.
So it's a fantastic program. What it does, the format of it takes place over 20 weeks throughout the school year. and we hit issues that's whole of life. And some of the folks in the education and professional world, you're going to be familiar with the terms social emotional, intellectual cognitive, and of course the physical self. We hit all of those. There's another component that we add to it as well, the industrious self. Because we want students to begin, and this is part of my story and part of my drive and part of the reason why I do the things that I do, we want students to formulate a plan for their life. We want to empower them to dream and begin to put an action plan together to achieve their dreams, to achieve their goals, to truly be world changers, right? To wake up when they're 25, 35, 45 years old, just with that fire and that zeal for life, just ready to go every day of their life and not be stuck in this minutia of just, maybe a job that they're unhappy with or whatever. Some people can get stuck in that rut. Man, we want to empower and just facilitate a generation and just a culture of people who are just going after it, going after all the good and great things in life. And we even want to start in high school, and we want to start in middle school, telling these young men and young women, hey, you can achieve, you can dream, you can do. My wife and I, just in passing, we do this same thing with our children. We exercise these same things. It's always fun. We commute together. We carpool together in the mornings and in the afternoons as a family because, and some people may think that's weird, but it works for us because, Dennis, that gives us 2 hours extra a day as a family. Even in Coleman, you think, how do you spend 2 hours in the car, an hour one way? Where we live and the round trip, like we see Coleman every day, but it gives us 2 hours together. We have our devotional time in the car. We pray together in the car. We talk in the car. After we drop my wife off at school, my boys and I will have conversations. For instance, just this morning, we hit a TED Talk. And the TED Talk was an engineer that works with X, which is Google X. And he talks about these moonshot programs that they did. And Dennis, you're probably familiar with the term moonshot, right? Yeah. JFK had a moonshot program. He wanted to put a man on the moon, right? So it's these big lofty dreams and ideas. And this morning, my kids were just listening to this TED Talk, like just intrigued as this man talked about how they're building this system where they have balloon-powered internet, right? Craziest thing ever. There's 4.5 billion people in the world that live in remote locations that don't have access to the internet.
Right.
So X is this company that wants to take on these big, huge projects that impacts the entire world, and they want to find solutions. So X has been working on this moonshot program to provide balloon-powered internet, right? These big, hot air, like weather almost looking balloons. Yeah. With these internet things on them. I don't really understand how it works, but my 12-year-old was just zoned in the whole time listening. And then the conversation that followed afterwards, and I thought, man, if we could harness the creative ingenuity, the passion, the drive, the lack of, like, no fear in that 10, 12, 13, 14-year-old, and say, you know what, you can accomplish your dreams. You can run after your goals. You can take on these big, massive, world-changing projects, and you can forever leave a footprint for the good, right? After you leave this world, went long behind, then we can really create positive change. And with the mentoring program, that's what we're after. We're after those things. So we want to come at it. We want to give students, for instance, sexual abstinence. It's not, and let me say, guys, it's not a sex ed program by any stretch. What it is we want to go to the Center for Disease Control and we want to pull down some statistics on sexuality or behaviors amongst teenagers, and we want to offer, hey, look, you know what? It's a best practice to wait until you're married and in that committed relationship with fidelity. It's a best practice because you don't run the risk of an unwanted pregnancy or an STD. For instance, did you know in 2013 of the over 20 million new STD cases in America, half of those were young people between 13 and 19 years old. Half.
Wow.
So if we can instruct our kids and teach our kids, hey, we want to give you some facts and we want you to make informed decisions. Now, Dennis, we're in the Bible Belt, and we come with our preconceived, we ask you, why should you wait on some of these moral issues? And we're going to have a moral answer driven by our conscience, driven by our convictions. And that's good, and that's wonderful, and I applaud that, and I'm with that. However, we want to come along with that, and we want to say, here's information why this is the right way to do things. For just different social norms and whatnot. And it starts with even like dating habits and stuff like that. So today, actually, this afternoon, I'll go to one of our high school partners here that we're doing this mentoring program with now, that we've done it with for the past 2 years. We'll be out at Hanceville High School where Jimmy Collins is the principal. And Jimmy has been so great. He's been so supportive. He's written a recommendation for the program. He's talked about how he even believes the program has improved some of their STAR testing or some of their Aspire, I believe, testing scores. He talks about how in the month of January at Hanceville High School, they only had like 7 discipline referrals the entire month.
Wow.
And he attributes some of these things to our mentoring program, and he writes about that in his referral. I mean, it's just, I'm just blown away. I'm sitting here thinking, wow, Jimmy, thank you for the high praise, and at the same time, what a responsibility to continue to do what we're doing, because it creates that expectation. And even with Chick-fil-A, I serve as the marketing and relationships director at Chick-fil-A, and one of our things we're all about, we never want to, now sometimes we fail, guys, sometimes we'll mess up, and sometimes we'll put cheese on your biscuit in the drive-thru when you didn't ask for cheese on your biscuit, and sometimes we'll do all kinds of crazy things because we are human and we do make mistakes. But at the same time, guys, I want you to know we strive for excellence. We have a deep desire to hit that mark every time, to be on our game. So even with peer mentoring, that mindset comes over. We never want to set up an expectation that we fail to meet. So as we transition from this school year 2015-16 into 2016-17, some amazing things are on the horizon, and I'm just sort of bubbling over. So a couple of months ago, I was contacted by my old grant director, where the program that I ran in Tennessee, and she told me that they were writing on a new grant that's through the Office for Justice and Juvenile Delinquency Prevention, and she asked me if we would like to be included on the partnership. And I, without hesitation, yes, yes. Because, Dennis, what that is that's more resources, that's more money, that's more funding to impact more people. And this isn't about a personal gain. I mean, look, we've got to pay the bills and we've got to feed our family and those kinds of things, right? So it's not about that, but it is about impacting, and it is about making a difference, and it is about changing lives. And I want to flip right back to Chick-fil-A here. I appreciate Randy Ernest, the store owner, operator at Chick-fil-A, so much, because Randy and I were even on the phone this morning for about a half hour. I love hearing his heart, because it's another man who's passionate about our community, who wants to truly serve the people around him. He wants to truly be the best husband he can to his wife, Megan, the best father he can to his son, Jackson, and his daughter, Brooklyn. And I love that, because as iron sharpens iron, so does a man sharpen the countenance of his friend. So I love being around guys like that. With Sheriff Gentry as well. Sheriff Gentry is going to be one of our guest speakers on a discussion panel with an event, the Leadercast event that we're going to hit on in a minute. Pastor Jerry Lawson at Daystar. Jerry's going to be a special guest of ours at Leadercast as well, on a discussion Q&A type format that we're going to do just right after our lunch break there at the Leadercast event on May 6th. And Shane Barnett, our new county superintendent as well. Shane's going to be with us for that event. So just very excited about that, but just to do life with these kind of men and with men of these caliber. I was on the phone with Sheriff Gentry yesterday. I said, Sheriff Matt, man, I'm honored just to be in the same conversation with you guys. I'm honored to just be around you, because these are truly people who are out changing the world and making a difference, and they're using their lives to serve and to influence and to lead, and not out of a dishonest heart or not out of any kind of selfish gain, but they're laying their lives out there every day. And they're saying, you know what, we want to be men who lead. We want to be men who serve. We want to contribute. We want to pour back. We want to be role models. We want to be that. And I just love that. And I love Coleman. I love living here. I love being here. Jumping gears back onto mentoring. So as we look forward to 2016-17, I'll give you a couple of links, guys, that you can check out. LifeThatCounts.com, that's our website. It's still a work in progress. Derek Dell, I'm gonna call you out, Derek. Derek's helping me put together that website there. Derek's just an awesome guy. He's a student pastor at Daystar, and Derek's just killing it there and doing just a fantastic job. He and his wife Nikki. But yes, so the website's still coming together, but you can read a little bit more about us and what we do at lifethatcounts.com. In the upcoming weeks as well, there's also going to be a way for those of you who may feel led to contribute financially to Life That Counts. There's a secure page there that you'll be able to submit a tax-deductible donation to the work, and you'll get receipts and credited and all that thing for that as well. You can interact with us there. We're on social media. If you're on Facebook, you can find us facebook.com/LifeThatCounts. If you're on Twitter, @LifeThatCounts, all spelled out one word. Instagram, the same way, @LifeThatCounts. So we try to keep those things updated and maintained as much as we can. With the peer mentoring, I've also done character education talks. I think we're going to have a clip in just a few minutes of me telling. Some of you guys may know me from the gym. I try not to be the guy that's grunting too loud, right? This is really, you try not to, but sometimes So I'm at I do this talk it was at Fairview High School. Appreciate Mr. Gambrill so much for letting me come in, Dr. Gambrill over there, for letting me come in and talk to his kids. But just for a minute there, I got on the subject of why I weight train, right? Why I lift weights. A little bit of the backstory, and then we'll let Joel cut to the video. A little bit of backstory. So in 2011, I was married to my job in a very unhealthy way. I spent just an absorbent number of hours. I was a youth minister at a mega church, and as a result, I hardly ever went home. And I truly believe I'm the reason Taco Bell created the fourth meal. It was nothing to drive through the drive-thru at like 2 a.m., man, and load up so I could keep working. It's sad but true. And my wife and my kids are at home suffering. They like don't have dad there because he's, it's so easy to justify ourselves when we're doing some of these things. So we got to maintain balance, right? So I'm walking one day, and it's one of those things. I had a gym membership, but I wasn't the guy who went. I was almost 300 pounds. I was about 65% body fat. I had a lot going on here and here, And so after I walked, I sat down and I actually blacked out for like 20 minutes. And it was a real wake-up call. I went to my doctor that afternoon, who's a friend of mine. His name's Jeff. And Jeff called me after the MRIs and the blood work, and he did all these things. And Jeff said, John, he said, man, look, I give you 6 months before you have a major heart attack. Wow. Yeah. My triglycerides, for those of you guys who know what that is, that's bad cholesterol, over 500, 535. A normal person, there's somewhere between, and I say normal range is somewhere between 75 and 125. Mine was 535. That means the fat in my blood was like constricting my arteries. And Jeff said, John, you've got 6 months before someone else takes your place in your family's life.
Wow.
And he put it to me that plain. Now here's the thing, Dennis, and I wanted to come back to this, and I just wrote a book for students on some of this, and the name of the book is called Rules for Success, and I'm going to give this away to students who come to the website, who give us their email address. They're going to have a link where they can download the book for anyone who wants to do that. It's about 40 pages long. You can read it in less than an hour. It's very conversational. I intentionally wanted to keep it short. I give you 5 things to do, which I believe are rules for success, for a successful life. But the reason I did all this, Dennis, was, see, growing up, I never knew my dad. I'm a 35-year-old man. I've never met my father. And you carry that, you know. Mm-hmm. Now, I've made peace with that, and whoever and wherever he is, I forgive and all that sort of thing. He's missing out on a wonderful daughter-in-law and 2 wonderful grandkids. Mm-hmm. But my whole thing as a father was, Dennis, I wanted my wife to know, because I watched my mom have nights where she'd just cry herself to sleep. You know, why won't somebody love me and all that kind of thing. I wanted my wife to know and be loved by, protected by, cared for, provided for by her husband. And I wanted my kids to have the same experience. Now, I wanted this from the time I was in 6th grade. That was my goal for my life. My goal for my life was I want to be a husband who's faithful, who loves his wife, who loves and cares, provides, protects for his family, his kids. And when Jeff told me that, when I was 31 years old, it was a wake-up call. Mm-hmm. And something had to change. So, these guys are going to share the video with you guys.
We want to talk about Leadercast before we wrap up.
Let's do it. Let's hit Leadercast.
Yeah, what's going on?
Excellent. And thank you, Dennis, for getting me back on track there with that. So Leadercast is this. Yeah, thank you for that. Leadercast is this fantastic event. You see Nick Saban right in the middle. Can I have a Roll Tide? Where are you? Are you Auburn or Alabama?
Tide.
Roll Tide. There we go. So we've got Steve Wozniak. That's that good-looking fella right above Nick. Steve Wozniak is he was with Steve Jobs when they founded Apple. We've got Kat Cole there. We've got Commander Rourke Dever. We've got Pastor Andy Stanley of North Point Community Church, Dr. Henry Cloud, James Brown, a host of others who are going to be at Leadercast. This is a simulcast event. It's not a live event. If you come expecting to see Nick, I mean, we'll try to do some sort of, 4-dimensional video thing. Yeah, Nick's going to be on the big screen, and I can try to forge a signature if you'd like, but I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be a simulcast event on May 6th at Chick-fil-A at Coleman. We're honored to bring this event to you guys. For us, this is an investment back in our community, because here's what we know about leadership. Leadership is not a top-down thing. Leadership is the greatest in the room is going to serve everyone in the room. So leaders, those of you who are in industry, business, healthcare, wherever you are, whatever leadership that you're in, we want to invite you personally to come to this event so that you can experience a day of training, a day of visioneering, a day of dreaming, so that you can be more prepared to lead those you serve. Right? So this isn't just an investment in you as a leader. This is an investment in those that you serve and those who follow you.
Do people need tickets or reservations ahead of time?
They sure do, and the link's going to come up. I believe they're going to put the link up right after the clip.
Okay.
Yeah.
A cost for it?
The cost for it now is $80 per person. And we handle and accommodate groups as well. Guys, we want to encourage you to go ahead if you're planning on attending Leadercast. We've already had one price jump from 60 to 80, so the 60's already, it's said goodbye. So now we're at the $80 price point. Guys, if you wait until the day of, but you still want to attend, the price jumps another $20 to $100. Okay. Now, and here's the thing, that's beyond our control. That's just the cost of bringing the event and having it and hosting it, per person. So we want to invite you guys to be a part of that. All of my contact information will be up as well, and you guys can reach out and be in touch. Yeah, we look forward to a great day.
Okay, and to wrap up, we have a video of some of your work.
This should be fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. I enjoyed doing it, so maybe you'll enjoy watching it.
John, God bless you and your ministry.
Hey, thank you.
You want to know why I'm in the gym? You know what? You want to know why I work out? I'll be damned if I'm the narcissist that's sitting in front of the mirror saying, look how pretty my muscles are. Look at you. Hey, got it going on. Look at that. That ain't it. If my wife does that, fantastic. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. Hey, we're married, you know. Gives you something to shoot for. No, God is fantastic, y'all. I mean, the longer